La Provence has French cuisine you have just got to try. The restaurant located on the north corner of Central Avenue at Monte Vista is a treasure itself. And we are pleased to welcome the owner and sommelier, Jean Leroux, and Chef Joe Dillon back to our kitchen. Nice to have you.
Very nice to be here.
You were making me laugh before. It was fun.
Well, in the kitchen, in a restaurant, we need to have fun.
That's the way it's supposed to be, right? Laughter in the kitchen always. Now, Kristen was talking to you before about the restaurant itself, but tell us a little bit about what you're making for us today.
Today I'm going to be making cassoulet, which is, like I said, a traditional provincial dish.
Yes.
Always featuring several types of pork and definitely beans. Cassoulet is actually the dish that it's cooked in. This is a beautiful cassoulet that John has provided us today.
Oh, so that's actually just the dish. See, and I never really made that connection.
Cast-iron.
Hello. Okay, so now it all makes sense. That's how we're actually going to be cooking it. Mm-hmm. And I know that you're very excited because I know you're excited to pair it with just the right wines.
Absolutely. And what we did today, we selected wines from southern France as well.
Okay.
Since the dish comes from Toulouse in southern France, these wines are from Avignon for the guests who are familiar with the Rhone Valley. So the first one will be from the Côte du Luberon, and the other one is more to around the Provence area.
Okay.
The thing about these two wines, you have 8 different grapes. So 4 in each different. So my style as a sommelier, I try to get away from the regular Chardonnay or the Cabernet Sauvignon. I think the guests want to experience much more than the usual. And you know what?
Absolutely.
A wine tasting, it's not a guessing. No, it's about deduction. And when you taste wine, if you get it wrong, not a problem. That's the way I learn. You learn by getting it wrong.
In anything,
Absolutely.
and I'm sure as a chef, that's probably a big thing too. It's experimenting and trying different tastes in order to get it just right. And what are some of the ingredients that you already have set up so that anybody that wants to try this at home can prepare?
I've brought some duck confit, which is duck slowly cooked in its own fat. There's a recipe posted on the site for it.
Perfect, at casa.com.
You can also probably find it at finer supermarkets, and if you can't source it and you don't want to make it at home, come in the restaurant and I'll make sure you get what you need.
And you'll make it for us. That's what I want. Now, what are some of the other things we have here ingredient-wise?
I've got some local New Mexican bolito beans.
Okay.
Boudin Blanc sausage, bacon, of course. This is what the gratin mixture that we pulse with herbs in the Roboku. The guys in the kitchen call it kryptonite.
It's Superman's specialty.
Right.
I like that.
Got some whole grain mustard, some aromatics, and of course some salt and pepper.
Fabulous.
Pretty simple dish.
So now how do you get started with this? Where do you begin?
Well, I'm going to drop the duck confit in the cast iron skillet.
Okay. And that's really the key. You really want to get a good cast iron skillet, don't you?
Most definitely. Skin side down, the skin will get nice and crispy.
Okay.
While that's rendering out, I'm just going to begin to sweat some garlic and some shallots.
That always makes the kitchen smell so good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So much fun.
It really starts to layer the flavor of the dish, too.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's the smell you want to smell in the kitchen right there. Fabulous.
I'm going to get my pork and beans going down in here.
And Jean, one of the things you were saying to me, going back to the thing about wines, is that just because it's a fancier wine or just because it's a delicious wine doesn't mean that it has to be something that's going to break the bank.
Absolutely.
And I wanted you to talk a little bit about that because I think people get intimidated by good wines sometimes thinking they can't afford.
You got such a great point, Nikki. Never judge a wine because of its value. Your bottle of wine is your best friend.
Right.
And if you don't know, and you know it's easy for us, the best friend is the back of the label. Usually everything is written in the back. You don't need to be a sommelier to read this. No, I'm sorry. But all the tools are in the back of the bottle. They give you the flavors. They give you the type of grapes involved in a bottle of wine.
Sure.
And you don't need to pay, I will say, $30, $40 for a bottle of wine. And what we service here today are both both bottles could be bought for less than $15.
That's incredible. Less
Absolutely.
than 15. I mean,
and
that
you know what?
huge.
They are good. And if you want to, I invite you to smell them and taste them.
Sure.
They are absolutely spectacular. And
great.
us as sommeliers, that's what we do. We taste wine. I mean, we reject them. Doesn't mean they are not good.
Right.
But you have to go to your style of restaurants to build your wine list.
Well, and doing what you do and doing it with the experience and professionalism, you're not going to recommend something that's not good.
No,
so
absolutely
if
not.
you can recommend within a budget, I think that just takes it up another notch.
And you know, Nikki, we don't sell wines. We represent the grapes.
I like
and
that.
the good thing about these wines from Provence or the Avignon regions, these guys have a love for the vine and they have a respect for the earth.
That's nice.
So that's very important. These guys don't make wine by formula. They make wine by taste.
I love it. That's the way it should be, isn't it? And speaking of taste, this is smelling really good over here. So you added, we have the beans, we have the garlic, we have the onions, correct?
Yes. We're just going to cook that down until the liquid comes out.
Okay. And then you're going to add our kryptonite.
Give it a little kryptonite.
I love it. And it also adds a lot of color.
Yeah, we love to have the color pop on our plates in the restaurant. Definitely eat with your eyes first.
It's true. All the senses are stirred in good food, from the smell to the appearance. And I imagine, especially at La Provence, really the presentation is so important because people kind of expect that from a fine French restaurant.
They do, and La Provence is very, it's very simple after all. We don't have a $25,000 chandelier above our head. But the food has to be absolutely top notch.
That's what it's about. Ultimately,
We do
you
mistakes. We're not perfect, but we correct it as we go. And it's like wine. If we do a little error, I mean, it's corrected. Nobody's perfect, but like I always said before, this culinary team, absolutely 100% American guys and ladies, and they dig into that French book. That's spectacular.
I love that. Do you love? And you love what you do, don't you?
Absolutely. I stay up late, study. John always gives me awesome classic dishes to prepare.
I love that. And I'm sure your son appreciates that too.
Yeah.
He's a future chef. Jasper will be great.
Yes, future chef Jasper. I love it. So now, now this is going to continue. Now, how long would you want to keep that on there, on that skillet?
Just until the skin, it's probably almost ready.
Okay.
Skin will get nice and crispy.
That's the way to do it.
The meat will start to fall away from the bone a little bit, the duck confit.
Okay. Makes it a little more tender.
Yeah. Once this is starting to look dry, just pop it in 350-degree oven.
Okay.
Brown the kryptonite a little bit and serve it.
That's simple.
Super simple rustic cooking.
It really is. I love to hear that because, I think a lot of people also think when you hear a dish like this, it sounds fancy, it sounds decadent, and you think it's going to take forever to prepare, but it really doesn't.
No,
it's pretty simple. I think we're going to have to taste when we come back. We'll get Kristen back in here, and you'll also have the pairings. And I want to let everybody know where you are located once again because you really need to go in and try it. It's a fabulous restaurant. La Provence is located at 3001 Central Avenue Northeast. That is at the corner of Central and Monte Vista, and the phone number and website are both on the screen, so you can see right below us, 505-254-7644. And if you want to make a reservation, can they make reservations?
Absolutely, especially with the upcoming, with our first wine dinner with Gruet on April 5th. That will be a great evening. So Tuesday night, April 5th, wine dinner with Gruet. We're limited. We're not a big restaurant, so please, reservation will be welcome.
I have to put that in my calendar. I didn't know about this.
It will be a great wine dinner. And of course, in March, we have the restaurant week starting on the 13th, so chef will have a nice 3-course meal for that meal, plus our regular menu, of course. And this menu will be posted on our website so the guests can visualize it.
I love it. Perfect. Well, we'll be back to eat more in just a moment, and if you want today's recipe, you can just log on to casa.com. We'll be back after the break.